Picture a cold tent on the Danube. An exhausted emperor, besieged by war and plague, opens a small leather journal and writes himself back into strength. Marcus Aurelius didn't wait for calm to find calm. He forged it. If your days feel like a siege mails bills, family storms, this is your field guide. 10 rules, each with a quote, a drill and a metrics. Oh, this doesn't stay inspiring. It becomes inevitable. You don't need easier days. You need a stronger core. Open your notebook. Your first victory is attention. Rule 1, purpose, powers, discipline. Picture a dark room before dawn. Your alarm buzzes like a summons from the front lines. A weaker version of you reaches for the blankets. The stronger version reaches for a reason. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "I have to go to work as a human being. Not as a machine, not as a mood, but as a person with duties." Purpose is the spark that lights the boiler. Without it, the engine never leaves the station. This matters because if the why is vague, the when slips, the how long shrinks, and the weather becomes maybe tomorrow. Purpose turns mornings into marching orders. When your mind knows what is for, your body follows. Marcus faced plagues, wars, and betrayals, yet he still wrote, served, judged, and trained. Not because life was easy, but because purpose made it necessary. Picture this, it's midnight on a Roman road. A chariot breaks, the wheel splinters. No speeches, no motivational playlists. The driver fixes the wheel because the mission demands it. You do the same in your own life. A flat tire, a crying baby, a blown deadline. Purpose is the lever you pull to move yourself when motivation is asleep. Here's the drill. Take 5 minutes to write a one-line purpose for the next 30 days. Complete the sentence. For the next 30 days, I am the kind of person who, action, because, reason that matters. For example, I am the kind of person who trains before sunrise because a strong morning protects my whole day. Or I am the kind of person who delivers drafts 24 hours early because trust is built on reliability. Write it by hand. Tape it where you dress. Take a photo and set it as your lock screen. Measure it. Each morning for 2 weeks, read that line and rate your clarity on a scale of 1 to 10. Aim to raise it by at least 2 points by day 14. For a bonus, track the minutes between your alarm and your first meaningful action. Shrink that gap by 20%. Your mantra is simple, born for this, not the blankets. This works because behavior research shows that when you create clear implementation intentions, when you say, when X happens, I will do, your follow-through skyrockets. The Stoics discovered this centuries ago. Identify your duties, act without drama. Marcus put it plainly. At dawn, remember you rise to the work of a human being. You're not chasing feelings. You're honoring your nature, your role, and your reason. So here's your challenge. Record a 10-second voice memo of your purpose and play it while you lace your shoes. Then go do one small act that aligns with it immediately. Discipline is not a mood. It's an identity you confirm with action. And once you have direction, you'll need a map you can actually walk. That's Rule 2. Rule 2. Commit to the little actions. Grand plans fail in small places. The calendar box you never filled. The task without a time. The week with no when. Marcus Aurelius advises, keep your mind centered on itself. In practice, that means stop outsourcing progress to luck. Build steps you can actually climb. This matters because big goals collapse without small guarantees. Overwhelm turns into procrastination, and procrastination hardens into stagnation. But when you convert a mountain into footholds, the brain stops catastrophizing and starts moving. Discipline isn't one huge push. It's the sum of small scheduled nudges. Think of Roman engineers spanning a river with stones. They don't leap the gap. They lay one stone at a time until the bridge is built. Your week is the river and milestones are the stones. Lay 5 and suddenly you've crossed once. Here's how you forge that bridge. Take 15 minutes each Sunday to create what I call the milestone ladder. Choose one goal for the month, then break it into 4 weekly milestones. For the week ahead, set 5 small daily actions that, if completed, make the week a win. Then schedule each action at a specific time and place. The secret is sequence. Front-load your hardest reps in the morning and pair them with an existing habit. Coffee leads to deep work. Journaling leads to reflection. Movement leads to clarity. Your measure of success is simple. 5 out of 7 daily actions completed means you pass the week. After 2 weeks, adjust by shaving 10 to 20% off the duration of your tasks. The aim isn't rushing, it's refining. Track one meaningful result, whether it's pages written, workouts finished, or client calls completed. If the latter is solid, you'll see a steady upward line. Your mantra is, this plans are promises to your future self, and the tools are straightforward. Time boxing beats vague to-do lists. Clear implementation intentions. When X happens, I will do Y at Z. Time keep you on track. Even temptation can be an ally when bundled with discipline. Your favorite playlist plays only during deep work, never during distraction. Beware the common traps. Planning the perfect week instead of a realistic one. Writing down vague actions like work on project instead of specific verbs like draft page 1 and 2. And of course, leaving tasks unscheduled. The fix is simple, everything gets a time. So here's your challenge. Pause this right now and build your ladder for the next 7 days. Because once the schedule is on paper, your brain stops renegotiating and starts executing. And remember, even the best ladder fails if you don't climb it daily. Which brings us to Rule 3. Rule 3, show up daily. The hardest lift is not the heaviest weight or the longest run. The hardest lift is the one that moves you from thinking about to actually doing. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, build up your life action by action, not mood by mood, not excuse by excuse, action by action. Because discipline isn't fireworks, it's a metronome. This matters because consistency always beats intensity. Anyone can sprint, few can keep cadence. The brain loves beginnings and finish lines, but most of life happens in between. Showing up daily shrinks the cost of starting, thickens your identity. I'm the kind of person who does this, and compounds your skill. Here's the reframe. A bad day is just that, a day. It isn't your destiny. If you miss one rep, your next rep is the comeback. The only pattern that truly sticks is quitting. So here's the drill the first minute. Choose a specific start time. At that time, do 60 seconds of the task. Open the document and type a single sentence. Lace your shoes and step outside. Open the system you dread and send just one line. Most times, the minute becomes 30. Even if it doesn't, you kept the promise. And keeping the promise keeps the identity loop alive. Your target is simple, 21 first minutes in 30 days. Track your streak. Pay attention to how often 1 minute expands into more. Aim for most of them. And make it easier on yourself, the same place, same cue. No friction starts and a visible tally that keeps the rhythm alive. Marcus anchored himself each morning with the same reminder: you rise to do the work of a human being. The work isn't drama. It isn't a grand performance. It is today's duty done well. Picture a scribe in ancient Rome copying a single page each morning. One page seems like nothing. But 1 year later, that same scribe has built a library. Your first minute is that page. So repeat this mantra: start tiny, finish proud. And here's the challenge. Tonight set tomorrow's start time. Lay out the first object you'll touch: the keyboard, the kettlebell, the book. Leave a note where you can't miss it with 3 words, just 1 minute. Because once you show up daily, you realize something powerful. Growth isn't about avoiding friction, it's about choosing the right kind. And when you choose friction on purpose, chaos feels lighter. That's Rule 4. Rule 4, practice voluntary hardship. Rain on bronze shields, mud under sandals. The Roman legions didn't only train when the skies were clear. They drilled in storms, marched through rain, slept on cold ground. Why? Because real life rarely offers sunny days. Marcus Aurelius understood this truth and reminded us comfort preserves you, but challenge enlarges you. He urged us to discipline ourselves in small things so the big things wouldn't break us. And here's the lesson for us today. Life will impose hardship whether you want it or not. It will send the lost contract, the harsh comment, the health scare, the unexpected bill. If you've never practiced discomfort on purpose, every surprise feels like catastrophe. But if you've rehearsed difficulty, if you've carried weight by choice, then life's surprises become tolerable. Stress turns from a sentence into a stimulus. You don't crumble, you adapt. The legions knew this well. They marched with full packs even when they could have marched light. They carried logs, practiced with blunt swords, endured wet cloaks and sleepless nights. Not to suffer, but to prepare. So when the true battle arrived, their bodies and minds recognized the terrain. Voluntary hardship wasn't punishment, it was protection. It was the art of making training harder than the day. You don't need to re-enlist in the legions to learn the same lesson. All you need is one chosen constraint, something small, controlled, safe, repeatable. Take a cold shower for 60 seconds after your warm rinse. Cut sugar on weekdays except for fruit. Walk 20 minutes outside before you touch your phone. Sleep once a week on the floor with a blanket. Or carry a backpack with a book or a bottle of water every time you run errands. None of these are heroic, but done consistently, they train the muscle of resilience. Commit for 30 days. Aim for 24 out of 30 completions. Each evening, jot down 2 quick numbers, how much energy you felt that day, on a scale from 1 to 10, and how reactive you felt, how easily you snapped. By week 3, most people notice their energy climbing by at least 1 point and their reactivity dropping by 1. You'll also see side effects: cleaner meals, faster starts, sharper focus. The mantra here is simple: train hard so life feels lighter. When you've chosen your hardship in advance, you walk through the world steadier. The storms don't stop, but you stop trembling in their shadow. To make it stick, link it to a cue. Cold shower after brushing your teeth. Phone-free walk before coffee. No sweets because you didn't bring them into the house. Anchor it with meaning. Remind yourself that this mild stress is rent you're paying for resilience. The point is not masochism, it's mastery. Marcus wrote, if you are pained by any external thing, it is not the thing itself that disturbs you, but your judgment about it. Practicing hardship rewires that judgment. Seneca put it even more bluntly: set aside certain days to eat the scantiest food, wear rough clothes, and ask yourself, is this what I feared? His wisdom still holds. Fear shrinks when faced directly, so choose your hardship now. Put it on your calendar for the next 30 days. Text a friend and say, I'm running a discomfort drill, ask me in a week how it's going. Don't wait for life to impose training, impose it yourself. Because every small difficulty chosen today builds the strength to face the large difficulties tomorrow. And here's the truth: when chaos arrives, you will need more than stamina. You will need clarity about what is yours to steer and what is not. That's the heart of Rule 5. Rule 5: use the dichotomy of control. Anxiety is often nothing more than control confusion. Epictetus gave us the cure in one line: some things are up to us, others are not. Marcus Aurelius echoed the same truth: your mind is yours, events are not. Once you learn to separate inputs from outcomes, power returns to your hands. Think about how much energy is wasted trying to command what was never yours to command. Markets rise and fall, the weather changes, people form opinions, gossip spreads. When you try to own those things, you exhaust yourself, doom scroll endlessly, and lie awake at night, rehearsing scenarios you cannot alter. But when you shift that same energy toward what truly belongs to you, your effort, your schedule, your preparation, the weight lifts. You fall asleep faster, you wake steadier, you perform better, not because the world changed, but because you stopped trying to control the uncontrollable. Picture Marcus Aurelius in the middle of winter. The cold is merciless, supplies are low, soldiers are weary. He cannot soften the weather, he cannot speed the caravans, but he can harden the will, ration the bread, rotate the watches, lift the morale. That choice is control. That is sovereignty. Here's a practice that takes just 60 seconds each day. Draw 3 circles, one inside the other. In the smallest circle, write what you truly control: your effort, your attention, your schedule, your skill practice. In the next circle, write what you can influence: negotiations, requests, your reputation, your tone. And in the largest circle, write what you cannot control: inflation, gossip, traffic, the past. Now take your biggest stressor today and place it in the correct circle. If it belongs in control, act on it now. If it belongs in influence, schedule one nudge, call, an email, a request. And if it belongs in no control, practice, release one slow exhale, shoulders dropping, and a quiet sentence said out loud: not mine. Track this for 2 weeks. You'll likely notice doom scrolling drop by 30% when you stop chasing things outside your power. Sleep tends to come faster by 5 to 10 minutes when the mind isn't chewing on unsolvable problems. Even your savings rate or work output may rise because energy once wasted on worry is now redirected into effort. The mantra is simple: own inputs, accept outcomes. Say it again: own inputs, accept outcomes. That's the whole game. There are upgrades to this practice. Turn off alerts that live outside your circle of control. Frame your requests in the language of influence, because statements work. Because timing matters, could we move this meeting? And each week, keep a small, not mine list. Write down 5 things you refuse to control. It might be the economy, your neighbor's opinions, or the traffic jam tomorrow morning. Writing it out makes the release real. The Stoics never stop reminding us of this truth. Epictetus said it clearly. It is not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. Marcus followed, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. So try it now. Grab a scrap of paper, draw your 3 circles, write today's stressor, and place it where it belongs. Take one action in your circle of control before you do anything else. Release the rest. You don't need to manage the world. You need to manage your stance within it. And here's the bridge. Once you begin to own your inputs, you also have to own your stance. No excuses, no victim scripts. That's the heart of Rule 6. Rule 6, never play the victim. Victim scripts are energy leaks disguised as explanations. Marcus Aurelius put it with a soldier's bluntness: do your job without whining. The moment you trade why me for given X, my best move is why discipline comes back into your hands. Blame feels righteous. It makes you the center of an unfair story, but it leaves you powerless. Responsibility feels heavy. It admits the weight. Yet it also gives you levers you can pull. Only one path moves you forward. The emperor of Rome couldn't control conspirators in the Senate or the plague ravaging his cities, but he could control his example. And that is exactly what gave him strength. Picture this: a commander receives bad news. Supplies are late. Allies are wavering. The enemy has advanced. There are no speeches about unfairness. There is no self-pity. Instead, he redraws the plans, reassigns scouts, tightens the lines. That pivot is not denial. It is leadership. That is what refusing the victim stance looks like in action. Here's a drill you can use in real time called the flip the frame method. Whenever you hear yourself thinking, why me, stop and say out loud, given this reality, my next best move is this. That small change in language is a massive shift in posture. For example, given the budget cut, my next best move is to trim scope and protect quality. Given the rejection, my next best move is to ask for feedback and send 2 new pitches. Given the late train, my next best move is to rehearse my opening on a voice memo. It's not magic, it's mechanics. You are rewiring the mind to pivot from reaction to response. Now measure it. Aim for 10 flips each week. Keep a small log of moments where you complained instead of acting, regretful rants, the wasted energy of venting without pivoting. Trend those moments towards 0 within 2 weeks. You'll notice decision time shrinking by 20 to 25% because less energy is wasted in dramatizing what cannot be changed. Repeat this mantra: less why me, more what now. Short, sharp, a reminder of where power lives. It's important to draw a boundary here. Never playing the victim does not mean blaming victims. Harm, injustice, betrayal, they exist, and Stoicism never denies them. The point is this: even after harm, you can reclaim agency. You can always choose your next move. You may not control the strike, but you control the stance you take after it. To reinforce this stance, keep a wins from adversity list. Each day, write 1 line about a pivot you made in response to a challenge. Train yourself in neutral language: this happened. Now I do this. Reward the behavior itself, not only the outcome. Even a small treat after a clean flip strengthens the habit. The Stoics left us anchors for this discipline. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Integrity cuts decision fatigue. It keeps you from wasting energy on rationalizations. Epictetus sharpened the point further. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So try it now. Take one complaint you've repeated lately, rewrite it into a flip sentence. Given X, my next best move is Y. Then act on the first 2-minute step of that Y. Do it now. Prove to yourself that your energy belongs to action, not explanation. Because victim scripts starve the long game. And if you want to play long games, you must want later more than now. That's where we go next in Rule 7, delay gratification. Rule 7, delay gratification. A soldier who eats all his rations on the first day starves on the third. Marcus Aurelius cuts deep when he asks, were you born to feel nice? Discipline answers, I was born to do my work. Delayed gratification is not misery. It is logistics for your values. Because here's the truth: short hits, sugar scrolling spending, steal long wins, health-focused solvency. Your brain chases the spark of now, but neuroscience shows urges rise like waves. Left unfed, they often pass within 10 minutes. That means your job isn't to kill the urge or to be a monk. Your job is to surf it, to hold steady until the rational part of your mind, not the animal impulse, is driving. Think of Marcus on campaign. He rationed time the way Rome rationed grain. Counsel at dawn, letters at noon, inspections at dusk. Pleasure wasn't banned, it was placed. Leisure was earned after duty, so it sweetened, not soured the day. That's the frame. Delay is not denial. Delay is order. Here's a drill you can run daily called swap and save. Pick one temptation you face every day, a snack, a checkout tab, the impulse, buy a video loop. When it hits, set a timer for 10 minutes. During that wait, do a micro task that aligns with your values. 10 push-ups, 5 lines of email, 1 paragraph in your draft. If after 10 minutes the urge still roars, allow a smaller version, 1 square of dark chocolate instead of a candy bar, 5 minutes of social scrolling instead of an hour, a $10 cap instead of a binge. But if the urge fades, bank the win. Write 1 line in your log: not now, better later. That sentence trains identity. The numbers don't lie. Aim to diffuse 70% of urges with the timer within 2 weeks. Watch the lagging metrics shift. Resting heart rate dipping because you skipped the sugar. Savings rate climbing 2 to 5 points because you passed the impulse buy. Screen time dropping by a quarter on the app that usually owns you. These aren't small tweaks, they're compounding victories. Anchor it with this mantra: not now does not mean never. It means better. And you can upgrade the system. Pre-commit with if-then rules. If 3 p.m. craving hits, then I brew tea and grab a handful of nuts. Use friction to beat willpower. Move discretionary money into a separate account, make spending harder. And schedule joy on purpose. Friday night, 7 to 9, pizza and a movie. Planned pleasure isn't failure, it's strategy. You're proving that indulgence feels sweeter when it's earned, not stolen. The Stoics knew this. Marcus reminded himself at dawn, you rise to the work of a human being. Seneca sharpened the edge. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. The craving is the poverty. Training the craving is the wealth. So test it now. Pick today's swap. Set the first 10-minute timer. Push through 1 wave. And when you win, log the line. Not now, better later. That log is your ledger of strength, because your delayed yes will confuse the crowd. They'll ask why you're not indulging, not grabbing, not chasing every small pleasure. Let them be confused. You're not chasing comfort, you're building capacity. Ignore the noise. Seek counsel that sharpens you, not distracts you. That's where we go next in Rule 8. Rule 8. Ignore the naysayers, seek good counsel. Random opinions are weather. Wise counsel is climate. Marcus Aurelius reminds us with X-ray precision, examine what sort of people they are. Don't let drive-by doubts pilot your day. Tune out the noise. Tune in the teachers. Why does this matter? Because attention is the scarcest asset you own. Every unfiltered take you consume taxes your focus and inflames your emotions. But one carefully framed question to one credible mentor can save you months of wasted effort. Curation is discipline. Inputs shape identity. Picture Marcus in his private notes. In the very first book of Meditations, he lists his teachers, Rusticus Maximus, his adoptive father Antoninus. He didn't inherit their thrones. He borrowed their temperance, their patience, their clarity. He sought counsel up the chain and ignored the mob. That's the model. Don't drown in the chorus of random voices. Pick a few and listen deeply. Here's a drill you can run once a week called the Feed and Counsel Audit. Take 15 minutes. First, mute 10 low-value voices, the doom merchants, the envy bait, the hot takes that spike your mood and hollow your focus. Second, follow 3 genuine teachers, 1 for your craft, 1 for your ethics, 1 for your health. And third, ask 1 mentor quality person a real question. Make it smart, specific, measurable, and answerable in a paragraph. Don't ask the internet what your top 3 priorities should be. Ask your calendar, ask your values, and then ask someone who's actually walked the path. The metrics will keep you honest. In 2 weeks, aim to cut your social time by a quarter on your noisiest app. Add one new skill source each week and log one applied insight. Maybe you used a coach's cue to fix your deadlift form, or you switched your pricing model after advice from a peer. That's proof you're not just collecting words, you're compounding wisdom. Anchor this with a mantra: your feed is your future. You can go further. Build what I call a board of three. One elder for wisdom, one peer for truth, one junior for fresh eyes. That mix keeps you grounded, challenged, and current. Treat both praise and criticism as data, not destiny. Count the signals, don't become the signal. And keep a no-reply shelf, a mental place where you put hot takes for 24 hours before reacting. Most of them will die on their own without your energy. The Stoics are clear about this. Marcus, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Epictetus. First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. Both are pointing at the same fortress: guard your gate. So here's your call to action. Right now, mute 5 accounts that bait your worst self. Follow one teacher who builds your best self. Draft one mentor question and send it before the day ends. That's how you start shifting your climate. Because even better than advice is a life worth copying. And that's where we go next. Rule 9, emulate the wise. Rule 9, emulate the wise. Don't copy their trophy, copy their Tuesday mornings. Marcus Aurelius opens Meditations by thanking his models. From Rusticus, he learned plain speech. From Maximus, calm under pressure. From Antoninus, a sense of duty that outlasted fatigue. Excellence doesn't just leave stories, it leaves systems. That's the hidden truth: goals inspire, but routines deliver. Emulation compresses learning. Instead of wasting years reinventing, you can borrow another's: decision rules, sleep windows, and prep rituals. You port a proven loop and then make it yours. Think about Marcus himself. During plague and war, he didn't waste time asking, how would a hero feel? He asked a simpler question: what would Antoninus do? Then he did it. He met early, spoke briefly, acted justly, reviewed nightly. No drama, just a pattern repeated until it became his. Here's a drill called shadow a system. Pick one role model whose life actually matches your values. Not a celebrity you admire from a distance, but someone whose rhythms you could realistically wear. For 7 days, copy one routine end to end. Match their sleep lights out, wake up. Protect their deep work block, the first 90 minutes undisturbed. Train using their split, scaled down to your level. End your day with their nightly review or checklist. During the week, keep a daily note. Write down what felt awkward, what felt powerful, and what you might want to keep. By day 7, choose one element to adopt permanently. The expectation is simple: 5 out of 7 days you adhere. And by the end, you'll notice a 10 to 20% lift in your chosen output. More words written, more code compiled, more sales calls made. Anchor it with the mantra: don't copy outcomes, copy habits. There are upgrades you can layer in. Use bright lines the way your model does, maybe no phone before 10 a.m., or no alcohol on weekdays. Steal templates, email snippets, checklists, warm-up drills. Templates don't guarantee brilliance, but they make good days more frequent. And shift your language to identity. Instead of saying, I'll try to wake up early, say, I run the Marcus morning. It's not an experiment, it's who you are today. The Stoics said it plainly. Marcus himself wastes no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Emulation isn't cosplay, it's becoming. You're not pretending to be them, you're using their scaffolding until your own discipline hardens. So here's your call to action. Name your model. Commit to 7 mornings of their routine. Put it in your calendar right now, not later, because emulation powers action. But here's the catch: action without review can still turn into wasted motion. You need feedback, you need course correction, you need to close the loop. And that brings us to the next discipline, Rule 10. Rule 10, honestly review your day. The day is a forge, but without inspection, you just keep hammering bent metal. Marcus Aurelius praised the rational soul for 3 powers: self-awareness, self-examination, self-determination. Review is the hinge between ambition and actual improvement. Why does it matter? Because what gets reviewed gets refined. Reflection converts random experience into usable data. It shrinks tomorrow's mistakes and amplifies tomorrow's strengths. And this is not about self-scolding theater. It's about clean feedback and the next micro adjustment. Picture Marcus in his tent by lamplight after battle. He didn't write speeches for the Senate. He wrote for himself, where he was petty, where he was patient, where he could be braver tomorrow. He wasn't posing, he was debugging his soul. Here's your drill, the nightly 3. It takes 3 minutes, but it requires a pen. First virtue lived. 1 line. Courage, justice, temperance, wisdom. Where did one of them show up today? Second virtue missed. 1 line. Where did you fall short without excuse? Third one, correction for tomorrow. 1 line anchored to the calendar. At 9:30, 10 minutes of prep before the stand-up. And if you want to close strong, add 1 line of gratitude before you shut the book. The metric is simple. Aim for 21 reviews in 30 days. Pick one habit you want to trend upward by day 30. Maybe your on-time starts go from 3 out of 10 to 4 out of 10. Small, visible progress. Expect decision time to shrink by 15 to 25% and fewer repeat mistakes because reflection is rehearsal for the next round. Anchor it with the mantra, close stronger than you open. There are upgrades if you want to go deeper. Keep a wins and lessons ledger left page for wins, right page for lessons. Schedule a quarterly self-retreat 90 minutes to read the last 12 pages, circle patterns, and rewrite your 1-page code. Pair your nightly review with a shut-down cue lamp off phone outside the bedroom. The ritual becomes a guardrail. The Stoics remind us, Seneca confessed each day, I examine my conscience. And Marcus told himself, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Strict doesn't mean cruel. Strict means clear. You don't fudge the review, you don't over-dramatize it, you write the truth and then you write the fix. So here's your call to action. Tonight, write your first nightly 3. Set a 3-minute timer. Leave the notebook on your pillow so you cannot forget. Close the day with clarity. Tomorrow will thank you. And with that, you now have 10 levers, purpose, small actions, daily starts, voluntary hardship, clarity of control, rejecting the victim script, delaying gratification, seeking wise counsel, emulating the models, and reviewing your day. Pull one now, because discipline doesn't just compound in years. It compounds in minutes in the decisions you make before dawn, in the choices you review before sleep. If this helped you stand a little taller, comment I choose discipline over comfort. That line is a contract with yourself. Share this with one person who's fighting storms alone. Give them a map, not a lecture. Subscribe to Making Life Better. Here, ancient wisdom meets modern systems, drills, metrics, zero fluff. Start with Rule 1 tomorrow morning. 10 days from now, you won't have a different life. You'll have a different mind facing it.